Dear friends, I'm very delighted to share this program with you. This training program, the Principles of Destiny, has been a significant part of my life, if not everything in my life. In life, everything constantly flows, happens, so by far it is difficult for me to evaluate what shall follow. But for now, I can claim that a very significant part of my life has been dedicated to this training program. It took me quite a while to create this program. I've tested various techniques for various audiences. The version of the program you've been participating in was completed after 8 years of work. I just mean that I'm really glad. I'm glad to see you here to participate in this program. I cannot tell how many people will be involved in this training right now, but I can already feel your invisible presence here. I'd like you to consider some very important things that will help you become an inalienable part of our working group to research the laws of destiny and to train to interact with destiny, with life, with reality. This training course is not a lecture. A lecture is theory, information. Training session is the experience. In our program, we don't work with plain theory. Everything we study and train here was made for one goal, to let you implement your knowledge every day of your life. Use it in your own experience. So our training session is the live process. So please get yourself involved. Feel yourself to be sitting in one of these chairs. Become one of the actual participants of this process. Do all exercises together with the audience. If you fall back with something, stop playing your disc. Complete the exercise. Do not miss a single exercise. Do not be just the side watchers. If you fall back, stop and finish your work, then come back, continue. Training course also provides some homework. Please consider that the course takes 8 days, full time. So if you get involved to the work, not just watch the disc, then your own course may long even more. Use everything you take from the sessions, use it in your life. There are 8 sessions in the course, so take the first session, work on it, comprehend it, learn to use it, and only then step forward to take the next session. You can start the next session only after you have worked out the previous session properly. Be consequential to let your experience accumulate. Observe the changes that would come into your life. So I'd like to say that I'm delighted to greet you in this program. I'm happy that you will be involved in our work, and all I have to say is, let's roll.
Topic of training, the actions of destiny in our life.
Let us disconnect ourselves from the real world for an hour or two, since we spend too much energy in our attempts to achieve something in this world. It's not a bad thing, but there is one important aspect here, which is to be understood. Should we really spend all this energy? And if yes, and how to spend it the right way. Stephen Covey is one of the leading modern psychologists, has a great metaphor on this issue. He writes about a stranger walking on the road at the edge of the forest, hearing a saw cutting a tree. Attracted by the sound, the man makes his way deeper into the forest and sees another man cutting a tree with great persistence. The cutter has a goal and he wants to achieve it. The stranger puts his hand on his shoulder, but the cutter shrugs it off, letting him know that he's too involved in his work and will not allow anyone to put him off his way to the desired goal. The stranger taps on his shoulder once more as if trying to explain something, but the cutter shrugs off his hand again.
not willing to listen, too much dedicated and focused to his very important activity. The stranger tries to attract his attention again and again, 3, 5, or even 6 times. Finally, the cutter turns his eyes on him. He's in anger, impatient to get rid of the stranger to continue his activity. The stranger looks at him with great pity and says, "Look, sharpen your saw at least a little." The cutter turns mad and yells back, "Leave me alone, can't you see I have to cut this tree?" The way we've been attempting to earn for a living, to build relationships, to make careers, to keep or restore our health frequently resembles this certain situation. We try to achieve something but have no knowledge on how to do it the best way. The saw of our efforts is not sharpened properly enough. Anyway, today I shall introduce the program, The Art of Living. This program consists of 2 training seminars, The Principles of Destiny and Psychology for Life. Today we'll go through the first part of the introduction. It explains everything about the matter of this program, why is it, why an ordinary person would need it, and all issues on this subject. To begin with, I'd like to make a sort of general introduction of the subject. Our subject is quite non-ordinary. Just think, the art of living. Isn't it a strange combination of words? Art, living. What is art at all? We just live the same as that tree cutter that just cuts his tree. He doesn't deal with art of sawing or, moreover, art of living. So we just live, we eat, we sleep, we work, we bring up children. What is this art all about? If everything is clear anyway, everything happens on its own. Whatever way, everything goes its own way. But if you are not happy with what has been happening to you, then it's worth giving it a thought. If you have already achieved something, then it's the right time to think. Probably it's possible to achieve more. What will happen if we ask this question to ourselves? Let's think. All our life we learn something, we spend a decade in school, then we go on higher education. I believe many of you have studied in a college or a university, and maybe not just one. Probably some of you attended quality improvement courses or even received a PhD. We read books or something else. We have been studying something all our life. However, what do we learn? In school, we learned about the infusorians, if you remember. We learned what they were, even drawn them in details. However, does anybody remember what actually were these infusorians? It's biology, let me remind you. Have you ever met infusorians personally? Have you ever been involved into a dialogue or a conversation with infusorians? On chemistry lessons, we also learned the cracking process. Let me remind you, that is the process of oil distillation, involving huge batteries connected to some pipes. Have you ever in your life used this knowledge? I remember myself in torture for several nights to learn and remember this process to pass the test on it with B. I could not set my mind on all those reactions and cataclysms, tangent and cotangent from geometry. Have you ever come across them your way? Most knowledge we get from our education is completely out of use. It is sad, but that is the fact. The basic knowledge that we really require in our life is how to live in this world, how to build proper relationships with people, what are the principles of happiness, of success, how to achieve success and happiness, how to reach personal harmony, how to do it. What are the laws, the principles of destiny, and how they work? Do we know anything about these matters? Many of you may say that you do, and today you'll get a chance to put your knowledge to the test to figure out how integrally, how completely, how deeply you're educated in the art of living. I want to put the exclamation point here.
Насколько у вас есть целостное и систематическое образование в этой сфере искусства жить в этом мире.
So, welcome to the subject. I wanted to give a certain direction to our subject here. Now we shall talk about the principles, the laws of destiny in this training. This program has actually received the award in the first place at the 6th International Festival of the Stars of Psychology and Psychotherapy, and this fact is particularly pleasant for me as I have been in this world for about 40 years, and this program is the most important for me as it contains all the experience I've gained in my work. This is the reason why this acknowledgement of my program has been so precious to me as a professional. So I'd like to start with the first essential thing. The whole world is penetrated with principles, laws. There is nothing accidental in this world. Nothing happens by chance. Apparently, this is quite an evident fact. If we talk about the physical reality, tangible reality, reality that we see, that we face, this fact is evident and natural. We know that there is the law of gravity, and it's senseless except in cases of strained stupidity. It's senseless to hold a heavy object above our heads. This heavy object may fall, following the law of gravity, and cause us physical problems. We know it. By this reason, we avoid any obviously senseless actions, like holding heavy objects above our heads. Environment has this trend of resistance. Even a wall possesses resilience. This is why we would not shut our eyes and take a run to the wall. We know that it's dangerous and we just hit the head. We respect the laws. Driving a car, we consider the traffic rules. On my way here, I noticed the car being towed away by the traffic police. I thought for a person who left his car parked, coming back for it, and the car is gone. Why had this happened? Because simply the person broke a rule. He broke a law. This world is penetrated with laws, rules, principles. We used to respect these rules in our physical dimension, the dimension of so-called the flagrant rough physical reality. But there is also the dimension of subtle spiritual reality. And the destiny acts within this subtle reality. Let me bring up some facts to pay our attention on how destiny works. Once a woman came to my office, she asked for a consultation. Here's her story. She lived in a small town, she was married, and she had a daughter. She had a lot of affection for her child. Let's point this out. This woman was bound to her daughter. She had affection for her. This is a very important fact to begin the story. This affection caused problems in the relationship between the woman and her husband. No man in this world is happy when he is ignored as a person, not caressed with emotions, just used as a financial source and a handyman. No man in this world would live with it. The couple divorced. This was the first brick she put into the wall of her new destiny. Because of her affection, this woman quit the job she was very fond of and moved to the big city together with her daughter. There she had to get herself employed to different places. She had to overload herself with the hardest jobs to provide for her daughter, to pay for her education, to buy food. Her daughter entered the College of Art. This is the second fact, very important for our story. Here comes the third fact. On the first year of college, this girl, her daughter, met a man, a tutor, who had no property, who rented a tiny room in the basement of the college building. In that room, he had a little workshop, a bed, and some simple furniture. After several months dating, the girl moved into his tiny room in the college and broke any contact with her mother. Absolutely no contact. She didn't even answer her phone calls. The woman was smashed. She was shocked. She had given her everything all her life. She kept trying to meet her daughter, but the girl never showed up. Finally, this woman somehow managed to meet the tutor, her daughter's boyfriend, spoke to him in a very rude manner, and even had a fight with him. She tried to physically fight her daughter back. What do you see this fight as the external negative power of physical force that broke into this woman's life. I think many of you can recall random situations in your life when some typhoon of a negative accident literally broke into your routine and blew up, causing all habitual routine, all harmony fall to pieces. This typhoon can be a financial crush, it can be sickness or loss of a beloved person or anything powerfully negative. This negative strike of the destiny that happens in our life is fully consequential. Why? Can we realize this? Are we able to look back and follow the chain of the events that led us to this negative strike? Can we understand the trouble happened in our life because it was bound to our own earlier actions? Or we rather blame other people, government, or even nature? The laws of the subtle reality, the subtle laws, are the laws of a cause and effect. I do the action and I receive effect after a while. Apparently, the law of destiny is the third Newton's law. We accept the third Newton's law in physical reality. The power of action is equal to the power of counteraction. In subtle reality, this law works the very same way as much as we can comprehend it. Can we find the proofs of this law working in our subtle reality? This is my question to you. Actually, in our life, not everything is so negative. There are also good things that destiny adds to our life. What are these good things? How can we know it's destiny? Say, all of a sudden we receive a great career opportunity, and this career takes us from bottom to the top so easily. Everything happens so perfect, just like some invisible force has been dragging us from down to up. Or money, the real fortune, suddenly covers up like a wave, and it is so unbelievable that we just feel being swept into a dream. Or physical health. Some people are just gifted with health. They are so strong, it's hard to believe. Maybe some of you are the lucky ones gifted with health. These are the good gifts that destiny gives to our life. And here comes the same question, why? Are we smart enough to realize the reasons why these great things happen in our life? Or we just think that they happen just the way they do, just on their way, by luck, by chance, magic. Genie in a bottle made our dreams come true. We found the bottle, genie belongs to us, nobody else can have it. We become suspicious about the people around us. We are afraid of them as our competitors and do our best to get rid of them, not to let them steal our bottle with the magic genie and there is no happiness anymore. Our luck turns into a disaster. Somebody told me something about a man. That man used to have a car, a really good car, which he kept in a garage. The proper garage with secure locks. Somehow, someone had broken into the garage and had lifted the car. Oh, I'm sorry. The car had been stolen not from his proper garage, but from a parking lot. The car was insured and the upset owner received the full refund. He bought himself a new car, the same really good as the stolen one, and kept it just in the garage. Never left it anywhere else to keep it completely safe. Now listen, what else he did? He had several apartments in different parts of the city. He never used his car in winter, so he took all four wheels of the car and hid all four in four different apartments. I got no idea what he did that for. Probably he believed that the thieves would not manage to carry out this operation in one night. It's quite hard, really, to collect four wheels from four different places, then go to the garage, then attach these wheels to the vehicle, and only after that to be able to drive it. Anyway, he lived with a fear for years, and that fear pushed him to do these weird things. If you in your life have success and you're a winner, but you live your life in fear of losing what you have, then you lose. Today, we are going to talk about this fear. If your success makes us feel insecure, if it makes us feel afraid, then we do not take it as success anymore. It's a puzzle for us. Success requires a foundation of inner integrity and harmony. If it's based on something different, then success ruins our life instead of erecting it. We are going to study this subject more closely today. It's very special and needs to be talked about separately. I'd like to remind you the first subject of our introduction. I've already said that this world is penetrated with laws, with principles. They penetrate all physical space. What is more important, there is the dimension of subtle spiritual reality, and there are subtle laws of destiny. Everything happens in our life, both positive and negative, happens because these subtle laws work. They work in the same instant as we take an action when we do something. Some of our actions lead to the negative effects, others lead to the positive effects. So what do you think? Why should we know these laws of destiny? An educated man builds his attitude on knowing. Knowing the laws gives him faith. I mean, we find our faith when we know the laws. Good, let's point out the word faith. I want to explain faith means confidence that my actions are right. I take them doubtlessly and have no fear of a mistake, no fear of anything to go wrong. We need to know the laws of reality for at least two reasons. The first reason is our potency to affect our own destiny, to be able to diminish the negative effects that have already come in our life. Please remember, if we have knowledge how to use the laws correctly, then we have a chance to control the negative things, even to prevent our life from the negative occurrences. Regularly, people used to wait for troubles to happen in their lives, and only after they have happened, the people take tries to handle the situation. Why wait? We need to learn how to prevent our life from troubles, to get rid of them before they have happened. By the way, one ancient treatise reads that there are several consequential stages of destiny. The first one is when destiny shows a problem as a plan and just a cracked seed. No noticeable changes yet, nothing happens, but it's a tiny negative move that has already happened in the dimension of subtle reality. Next stage is when soil mounts up just a little. Still nothing is visible, nothing happens, we still possess our health and money, our relationships with people are still good. But there are some signs, very small signs, that the negative changes are already in process. The third stage is the stem with the leaves. It's when some destructive changes affect our life. The fourth final stage is when everything in our life falls to pieces. I want to say that we should not sit and wait for the fourth stage to come and ruin our life. We have to learn to deal with these negative changes on the stage of the cracked seed on their first stage. How to do it, we shall learn on this seminar. Our first task is to learn what is destiny, how does it act, what negative effects we already have, and how can we diminish them correctly. Our second task is to understand why do we need knowledge of the laws of destiny. Say, isn't it fine to earn more money and receive different positive things in our life? Isn't it fine to have strong health, to be in good relationships, and to experience all this with no fear that the good things can end? These are the positive effects of our life, and we can attract them, increase these positive effects if we live correctly. We need knowledge to have the power to influence both positive and negative effects in our life. So, this is my introduction. Truly, these applauses are useful for you to let the information settle a little bit. I shall unveil the secrets of everything on this seminar. We don't want just information, we want the real experience. So now I want us to take a little fact and analyze it to picture the laws of destiny in action. Let's observe ourselves. Let's observe which part of our body is more prone to sickness, left or right. So is it left part of your body or right part? Chronic diseases, where do they nest in your body? Which side of your body is more vulnerable? Injuries, bruises, where did they appear more? With which part of your body do you hold on to your life tighter, right or left? Some of you may have already noticed that really sickness affects to one part of the body rather than the other. Isn't it interesting for you to figure why is that so? Some people have their middle part of the body more vulnerable. This happens too. Some have it in the middle and in the left part and in the right and in the upper part and in the lower. But that's exceptional situation. We'll talk in regards of it too. So you have noticed this fact of strained location sickness in your body. It was like that also before, but you may have simply not paid attention to it. Now you know that one part of your body suffers more than another one. Let's try to figure the reasons. Those of you who ever studied astrology know that there are two most powerful planets in the horoscope. What are these planets? The sun and the moon. Right. In other words, these two are the most basic positive powers in our horoscope. Power of the sun and power of the moon. There's also one curious historical fact that there are the dynasties of the sun and dynasties of the moon. In fact, everything in this world comes from the sun and the moon. The energy of the sun is masculine energy. The energy of the moon is feminine energy. Together, these energies build our life. Remember the sign of mutual transition, yin and yang, masculine and feminine origins flowing into each other. Our life is built by the combinations of these energies, masculine and feminine. We fall under the influence of the sun and the moon. These are the two basic powers and they impact our life. But how do you think they impact our life? I mean, who do you think in our life reflects these two basic powers and through whom these basic powers influence our life? These powers are reflected in our parents. They influence on us through a female and a male, a woman and a man, our mother and father. From different esoteric practices, it's known that the left part of our body carries the feminine energy and the right part of our body carries the masculine energy. If your relationship with your father is broken and it's the psychological fact, if you have an offense on him, or rage, or you've been unsatisfied with what he hasn't done for you or hasn't given you what you believe he had to give you, then your negativity blocks the channel of the sun energy, masculine energy in your body. This impacts your life, whether you want it or not. This impacts you with a sickness or the right part of your body. If you are a right-hander, if you're a left-hander, then it's vice versa. Let's check that right now. What is left side of the body and what is sickness of this left side? What do you think? It is interrelationship with the mother. There comes a block with the moon energy. You get sickness on the left side. But it's not just a sickness. Because we have to understand the meaning of the masculine energy much deeper than just one of two sexual origins. We have to understand the nature of masculine energy. Masculine energy is the energy that claims something in this world. Pay attention that the power of masculine energy expands itself, achieves, conquers something. What is a man? What do women praise the most in a man? They praise his power of resolution, inner confidence, dynamism, don't they? This is what the masculine energy is. If the sun energy channel is blocked in your body, then you may face two sorts of consequences. First consequence is that the energy of sun is not displayed in your life at all. Lacking the sun energy makes you a very insecure person. You don't have powers to achieve anything in this life. Don't have the inner support to rely on. Don't have the powers to act. Another consequence is that if the sun energy was very strong in you, it may break through the blocked channels and impact your personality in its harshest way. Here we get a man in clear aggression, the man who will step over a dead on his way. In fact, the modern business consists of such personalities dominating, breaking each other's heads, neglecting the family, not caring about anyone, ready to destroy everyone who tries to resist. Any of us can notice the traces of this clear aggression in their behavior. It is when someone argues and we feel the sudden rage to the one who disagrees. It means that the channel of masculine energy is blocked. This energy is not in harmony inside you. It's like a river that has broken through. What happens to the river flow if it hits the block on its way? There's a blockage in a narrow point, and it starts building up pressure, and then breaks through, and it flows. How does it flow? Right, it gains its power, breaks through the block, and rushes wildly, destroying everything on its way. What do we get if the harmony with the feminine energy is ruined? Moon energy is the power that calms us, gives us rest. What do we feel when we come out in the nighttime and stare at the moon? There's one nice metaphor, a soothing light of the moon. This power is subtle and it soothes, calms, brings rest, and by the way adds taste to the vegetables. Do you know why the veggies are delicious? Moon gives them taste. Veggies grown in the greenhouse taste like paper because they cannot absorb the moon energy. So females are beautiful and subtle. It's effect of the moon energy. A woman's ability to present herself, to feel feminine, confident, her sense of beauty, all comes with the feminine energy, the moon energy. When relationship with her mother ruins, a woman faces problems with her appearance, with her inner confidence, with her harmony. A woman can smooth the sharp edges. Do you know what a man praises in a woman? This is a question to the men here. Simply because when I'm close to her, I'm with her, she calms my senses, softens my harsh masculine energy. She gives peace and harmony. She supports me. This is the feminine power. So if the moon energy channel is blocked, the problems will come to this matter. This was a small demonstration of what are these invisible laws of destiny and how they work. So what if the sickness comes to the central part of the body? It means that we don't realize our potential in our life. We don't implement our abilities. The spine line, the central axis, is the location of chakras. Energy of Kundalini flows up, ascends on the spine line. And if you don't perform your life actions or your way of life doesn't match your own meaning, if you just adjust to life, if you waste your life energy, then you will get the problems with your spine. You'll get pains, curves in your spine, and similar weaknesses.
Разбазаривайте свою жизненную энергию. Будут проблемы по центральному столбу. Это будет перекос в позвоночнике, что там какие-то боли.
A person who doesn't perform his mission, who dissolves his abilities, always has a curve in his spine. I'd like to point out that today we are talking about psychology of the third millennium. This psychology goes further than the psychology of Dr. Carnegie. I dare to say that it goes even further than psychology of neuro-linguistic programming, way further. The psychology of the third millennium teaches us to see reality the way it objectively is, to learn to live inside the reality, live happily and be successful. We are actually destined to live this way. If we are unhappy and unsuccessful, it means that the way we've been living in this world is wrong. Right now we can put our way of living to the test. I'll ask you one interesting question right now. But before that, let's take a break. I feel it's time for a break. I'd like to hear from you what seemed important to you in this short conversation. Concentration of sickness with energy from left to right or middle is something I didn't know about. I've come to know that there are laws that govern your life, and you can know them and learn to live in accordance with them, knowing that you will be fine. That you can lead your life and not be afraid of it. It's simply a fantastic opening for me. I had pondered on questions like what our future holds, and the topic that you have touched upon is very interesting for me. and I wish to attend this seminar further, and this is very interesting. I will come here and learn. Okay, thanks for your opinions. And now please applause for everyone who talked and everyone who listened. We go on further. Second part of our journey on what I wanted to pay attention to is what happens when we, without realizing, not in a conscious way, break these laws of destiny. What comes to us when we break them? Some time ago, maybe 12 or 14 years back, I read a book. Normally, it takes me several first lines to appraise a book. In the very beginning of that book, I have read a single phrase that made me read the book from the first word to the last. You know why? This phrase kept a question which I could not find an answer to, and it made me search for the answer inside myself. I believe I have found the answer to that question, and this question has to be revealed in our program, in our seminar, and I want to share this information with you. I'll announce this phrase. It's quite decisive for you. When you hear it, you'll be free to decide whether to stay in this program or to leave. Now listen to the phrase and try to observe your inner reaction to these words. Listen carefully. Our sicknesses and foes are our best teachers. So please observe yourself inside. What do you feel when you listen to this phrase? And I go on further. The second important thing I want to share with you today is, besides the fact that reality is penetrated with laws and nothing is accidental, there is the original power of love that is at the basis of all things. This power of love flows into our lives. In other words, there is some power of support, of surveillance, of guidance that always is present in our lives. We may not see it, we may deny it, we may not know about it, but this original power of love, as the ancients say in the treatises, guides and moves every living creature in the universe. What did I say it for? Today I want you to make your decision whether to go into this program or not. I don't want to raise attraction of this program. You have to decide if you need it. However, when we break some laws of life, when we act with no conscience, with no care, with no harmony, then different negative effects come into our lives, like problems and sicknesses. In the life of every ordinary person, and we are simple entities, apparently everything is simple. No matter how complicated it may seem, our life is always very simple. All complications come in just 2 or 3 repeated situations. Please give it a thought. If you look into your life fair enough, you'll see that there are just 2 or 3 typical situations, and they repeat over and over again.
Если вы внимательно посмотрите на свою жизнь, вы заметите, что в вашей жизни 2-3
I haven't mentioned yet what are these situations, but give it a thought. These situations are called the main lessons of karma. These are 2 or 3 karma lessons that a person receives repeatedly as the interaction of life. They are given to us to let us learn these lessons, not to make the same mistakes. We come to our life for this education. Nevertheless, every time we receive these lessons, what do? The lessons come as problems in our life, and what do we often do? Instead of looking inside ourselves and learning the lesson, we blame other people who we believe are guilty in our problems. We blame the ones who we see as the reasons of our problems. We blame our government, we blame nature, our business partners, our children, and what is most important, we blame our spouses. But we are never ready to look inside ourselves. It's just about 2 or 3 situations in repetition. Louisa Hay, one of the leading modern psychic therapists, gave an interesting example in her book. She wrote about people who stand in line for a piece of big cake, and when it comes to them to get their piece, the cake is always gone, right in front of them. And so there are different people. A top manager of a company shared his situation with me. He told me that he used to attend all sorts of training programs. He knew and realized everything about psychology. He learned masses of different techniques, even neuro-linguistic programming with all its subconscious abilities. However, still on the meetings with his business partners, he couldn't control himself and fell into a rage and anger if anybody showed disagreement or argued his point of view. The only way to control his rage was just to stand up and leave the room before the wave of rage sweeps over him. I cannot change this. I treasure relationships with my partner. That's why I stand up and leave the room, he said to me. This is an example of a situation in repetition. This is the lesson he has to learn. A third example, you start a business, you almost raised it to a good level and then it simply fails. Something happens there and it just becomes a total failure. Okay, you start all over again. Again, you painstakingly raise it, and just when it comes to a good level and everything looks stable, it all falls down like a pack of cards. You start yet a third time. What do you get? The same result. Now, I don't want to go on with it. I just want to explain to you that all our life involves these 2 or 3 situations that come over and over again. It sounds like a chord with no harmony. It's like our destiny plays this wrong card over and over again to attract our attention on this situation, to make us hear the chord's awful sound and correct it. So you're on the training seminar, and today you'll get your home task. Besides your home task, we'll practice right here. We shall do different exercises, and you will have to do different homework. We want to work 8 days in a row. Please don't count on easy results. You'll get the results, and the results will be impressive. But let's concentrate on the serious work, not expecting that someone else will do everything for you. My task here is to provide you with the right guidance, and you are free to decide how to use it. Okay, here's your homework. Please come prepared for tomorrow's work by looking back into your life and analyzing it. Find these repeating situations, point them. Try to recall what are these repeating situations, where and how do they repeat, where you have stuck. You don't have to do any in-depth analysis. Just see these situations, notice them, bring these situations up tomorrow. Well, the second important thing that I have mentioned here is that the original power of love moves the rules of destiny and gives us negative effects as an interaction. Well, what is it for? This is not the punishment, not the execution. It's education. We are the students in this world, and we have been given the lessons to learn. We do not carry punishment. We only learn here. The better we learn our lessons of destiny, the more successfully we get over negative situations. There is no other way. During our meetings, we shall learn how to analyze the situations of karma and how to learn the lessons of destiny. You'll be able to notice the situations start changing immediately, in several days, not in the far future. I'm giving you now the very serious promise that you'll be able to see. Third, a small but principal part of our journey. I want to explain the methods that I use in my work. It's important. This training program was created on 2 professional foundations. First foundation is modern psychology, modern science of psychology. Modern psychology consists of real methods and techniques. It includes real experience, not theory. With the real experiences, we are going to work right here, as we want to see the real changes in different aspects of our life. So our first foundation is professional modern psychology.
Вторая опора — это
The
древние
second
санскритские
foundation is taken from the
трактаты,
ancient
которые оставили нам
treatises
мудрецы.
left to us by the ancient
И вот здесь
sages.
я хочу сделать небольшую паузу,
And here is what
чтобы
I'd like to say.
кое-что сказать.
Modern psychology is not a
Итак,
bad
современная
thing.
психология — это неплохо.
I've
Я
been in
в
professional
профессиональной
psychology
психологии
for
около
15
15
years
лет,
and
и
worked
я
with
работаю с
different
самыми
methods
разными
in
методиками
schools.
и школами.
Modern
Все
psychology
достаточно
provides
неплохо,
strong,
достаточно сильный,
proper
хороший
knowledge.
материал. Я провел
Some time ago,
несколько
I
программ, в
was
свое время меня
very
заинтересовали
interested
методики управления
in
будущим.
methods of future
Вот, такой
management.
тоже возможность, кто
I've
не
carried
знает.
out several
Я
programs
провел
on this
несколько
subject,
программ.
but then I
И
stopped these
я потом
programs.
остановил эти
Do you
программы.
have any clue why I've
может
stopped
догадаться,
them?
почему?
Well, why did I stop? Do you have any idea?
Как вам кажется?
Any guesses? Now, most of the people who attended the trainings on this program achieved almost everything they wished, everything they worked with on these trainings. These programs offered incredible possibilities for the professional success, for prosperity and career. Everything could be reached very easily, but still the programs were stopped. Why do you think?
Вот почему они были остановлены?
Let me answer this question.
Итак, если вы
If you read the books
читаете
by
книги
the modern
различных современных
specialists,
авторов,
professionals of
профессионалов,
psychology, you probably know
психологии,
what is the most
то
popular, most
вы
fashionable,
наверняка можете
trendy
сказать, какая
subject
сейчас
in
самая
modern
модная
science
тема
of
в современной
psychology.
психологической науке. Самая модная тема, которая
This subject
притягивает на
attracts
самом
everyone.
деле всех людей. И даже тех, кто
People
интересуется
interested in
семьей,
career,
и даже
family,
тех, кто
anything.
интересуется карьерой и всем остальным,
This
притягивает
attractive
тема
subject
влияния на
is
будущее.
future management.
Потому что чего бы вы ни
Whatever you
хотели, но
want,
если вы
whatever
осваиваете
you wish
методики
for, you can
воздействия на
obtain it
будущее,
if you have the skills to manage the
то вы можете
future.
получить что-то в той сфере, которая лично вам интересна. Я хочу вам привести
I'd like to
пример,
bring
как
you an
работают все
example
эти техники,
of
о
how
которых вы
the
можете
future
читать,
management
в
techniques
разных книгах.
described in these
Итак,
books work.
допустим,
Say,
есть сосуд
this
вашей судьбы,
is the part of your destiny.
и вам,
And,
знаете,
you know,
но
but now,
сейчас в своей жизни
in your life,
вы имеете
you have
некую
a
ситуацию,
certain
ну, в данном случае мы будем
situation.
говорить о
Here we shall
финансовой
talk
ситуации.
about
Я рисую
drawing a
доллар.
dollar. Financial
Что у вас
situation.
в
Every
месяц
month,
вот из этого
some
краника
amount runs
судьбы.
to you from this
В
tap.
общем, что-то вытекает, какая-то величина. Теперь,
You're not
вас это
happy
не
with this
устраивает.
amount. You
И
want
вы
more,
начинаете
and
изучать
you begin to
современную
study
психологию,
modern
разные
psychology,
методы усиления,
different
как
techniques of
привлечь богатство, чтобы
motivation,
было
methods
больше.
to attract fortune.
И все
All
эти
these
методы,
methods,
я немножко
let
сейчас
me
буду говорить
speak
метафорично,
metaphors,
но в
you'll
итоге вы
understand
поймете,
what
о
I
чем идет
mean.
речь. Потому что это некое очень важное понимание, которое обязательно нужно иметь в виду, если вы вообще собираетесь работать с этими методами или работаете. Все эти методы,
So
они
all
работают
these
с раскруткой
methods
вот этого
target
крана.
on how to open this tap to
То
make
есть,
it run
чтобы
more.
полилось больше. Вот это все
Positive
позитивное
thinking,
мышление,
mood,
то, что было
meditations
сказано,
set us
настрой.
to meditate
Знаете, вот
over
эти
the shower of
медитации,
gold.
когда
You look
каждое
around
утро
yourself
просыпаться,
and all
знаете,
you see is
медитировать
money,
на
the
этот
shine of
золотой
gold.
душ.
You set
Просто
your
он на
mind
вас
on
все
money
это
and
льется,
nothing
это
but
богатство,
money,
вы
and the
медитируете
shower
на
of
это.
gold
Вы
pours
везде
on
видите
you.
одни доллары, понимаете?
You write
И один
affirmations and
золотой блеск, больше
confirmations
ничего
to
не видите.
yourself
И
like,
пишите
I'm
себе
worth
разные
a
аффирмации, что
fortune,
я
I
достоин
deserve a
богатства,
fortune, and
я
it'll
самый
come to
лучший
me
человек,
tomorrow.
и все
I'm the best
остальное.
human on
И
earth,
оно придет ко мне
etc.
завтра. Значит, что
What
происходит?
happens when you use these methods?
происходит,
What
когда вы
happens when
работаете
you
с этими
work with
методиками?
these methods?
Не, ну приходит же
More
больше.
money comes,
Разве нет?
doesn't it? $500 come, $1,000 come,
Приходит больше.
maybe even
Может быть, $1000. Может, даже
1,500 will
1500
come.
долларов придет.
Please raise your
Поднимите
hands,
руку,
the
я
ones
опять
who had
хочу
worked with these
сориентироваться.
methods
Кто работал
and
с этими
noticed
методиками и
their
заметил, что
efficiency.
увеличивается. Кто не
Okay,
верит, то
please
может
look,
смотреть на
people
тех,
who
кто
don't believe it,
работает.
you see
Это
these
факт
methods
очевидный.
work.
Если кто-то
It's an
работал,
evident
но не
fact.
получилось,
If someone
это
tried
или
to
очень
work with
плохая
these
карма, или
methods
просто
but had no
неправильно
effect,
делается.
they either
Чаще
had a
всего
really bad karma or did something wrong. What is more
прибавляется.
likely?
А теперь
Anyway, here comes more. Now, please
хочу
pay your
обратить на очень
attention on a
важное
very
обстоятельство,
important
которое всё время
circumstance that's
пропускается
frequently ignored by
современной
modern
профессиональной
psychological
психологической
literature.
литературе.
It comes from the
Это, собственно,
ancient
санскритским трактатам
treatises.
мы уже переходим.
There's a threshold of fate,
Есть
some
некий
kind of
порог судьбы.
borderline of fate, of a limit.
Есть некая граница судьбы.
It limits many
Она есть для
aspects of
различных
our
сфер
life.
нашей
It is
жизни.
something
Некие
like
кармические
some kind
замки.
of karma lock.
Если
What
по
it
судьбе вам
means,
было
if you were
положено,
destined to
скажем,
earn,
иметь в
say,
месяц
$3,000 and
$3000,
you use these techniques, you can raise
то вот
this
при
amount.
помощи этих методик вы вот эту сумму можете поднять.
You can raise it
Но
up
вот
to
до
this
этой
line,
границы и не более,
but
ни
not
на
a
$1
single
больше.
dollar above it.
Вы в жизни
In your
имеете
actual life,
меньше, потому что
you
просто не
raise
реализуете
less money
потенциал
because
судьбы.
you
И
don't
вот все
use
эти
the
методики,
potential
они
of your
реально раскручивают
destiny.
этот кран. Это
These
действительно так.
techniques, they
Кран
really open the
раскручивается, он
tap
просто
for
не
you.
полностью был
So
вами
this
открыт.
positive thinking
Вы не
helps
те
you
какие-то
to open the
поступки
tap
совершали,
to
действия
make
какие-то,
your
веры какой-то не
fortune
было.
run stronger
Но
for
при
you.
помощи позитивного мышления вы
However,
раскручиваете
anyway,
это
you will
реально
lean
и
against the